So the name Gujili came from Gujaratis who came and settled down in Blacktown part of Madras. As we know, Madras was a huge industrial hub in those days. It was a cosmopolitan city. So when these people came in and settled, they settled in separate areas which they earmarked for themselves. They used to crowd together in one particular area and start living. And this area, initially, it was called Thieves' Bazaar. The reason was that they sold small knickknacks here. Anything, you can buy anything starting from a pen nib to anything that has been stolen goods to a flea market. And this particular area was particularly called Thieves' Bazaar because it was teeming with thieves. Imagine the kind of people who would be moving in this market. Very common, very ordinary people, not someone from the elite class and all that. So when these people moved about, then slowly these books, the small books that we call Gujili books, they were not initially called Gujili books. They were just called Patapustakam, song books. And there was one particular city commissioner by name Melanie. He was a British man. And he was requested by some people to change the name of that place from Thieves' Bazaar to something else, to anything that was found respectable. And so he changed the name from Thieves' Bazaar to Gujili Bazaar. It was called Gujili Bazaar because a lot of Gujaratis lived around that area. There have been references that these books were sold in small towns also, say in towns like Madurai, in Karaikudi, in Chettinad. Those places also, these books were being sold. And they had a unique way of selling these books. Like there will be, usually it will be by a couple, like a husband or a wife, two persons coming in, and it will be the person who will first start singing whatever was there. The guy used to sing. He used to stop the song somewhere midway and he'll say, you want to know more, you buy this. Anyone who had access to very little amount of money could buy these books.
Right.
They bought these books simply to read because those days newspapers were not so prominent here. We are talking about a period, say, from 1850 till, say, 1930s, 1940s. So those who wrote the songs, they were all very ordinary people. They were not learned people. They were not pandits. They were nobodies. They just wrote these songs. They learned it from their fathers and their forefathers. To know that what was printed in these books, the material that went into printing these books, it was all very common things that we used to see. Say, for instance, any historical event that happened, it was recorded here in the view of a layperson. Say, for instance, there was an exhibition flight that happened in Chennai in the 1920s, even before, the regular airplanes could fly and all that. Just then, the Wright brothers, they had flown their first flight. Yeah. Yes. And there was an exhibition flight by an Italian who came in and who flew his flight here in Madras. And there was a huge crowd that thronged the place where this was flown. And people went in bullock carts. There were people who went by walk. They bought tickets to enter the stadium to watch this show. And, the person who is singing the song, the person who wrote this, he writes, when I see the flight being positioned and it being pulled into the ground, it flew. And he says it was a motor car that was flying. The name of the song itself is Mel Parakkum Motor Car Sindhu.